Welcome to another episode of Blended Views Unfiltered. This is DeAndre.
This is Nick.
This is Mark.
We don't need to introduce Mark. Mark always up on this joint. What's going on, fellas?
Mark is like extended family at this point.
He is.
It's like, you got that one cousin you only see a few times a year. Mm-hmm. That's Mark. Mark extended family.
The honorary co-host.
Yeah, definitely a home away from home.
Yeah,
I'll say
definitely. That. Yeah, man. How was y'all weekends?
Weekend was good. Spent some time with the wife. The weekend, that's always good.
Yeah, I got to have a mental health weekend, man.
Oh, nice.
Like, especially Saturday, just did nothing. Absolutely nothing, man.
Don't need that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to unplug sometimes.
What do y'all jokers think of the Deion Sanders joint before we even jump into it? What y'all think about Deion's move?
I loved it.
Yeah?
Now, I wanted him to take a better job than Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
But
I was thinking about that.
Because I think they only won like one game last year.
There's 1-10.
But everybody, black people just want a savior.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. And his job was not to save HBCUs. Mm-hmm. His job was to show them what is possible if you really invest into it. But at the same time, he has his own career he wants to. And then what will it say about him if he's able to revitalize Colorado?
Yeah.
It's easy to go to like USC and Alabama and all that and win, but to go there and then he's bringing his kids and they already got a 5-star recruit committed.
Yep. Committed yesterday.
So NIL, all that stuff. Couple years, he could have them like, and then the Pac-12. I mean,
USC is leaving.
Yeah,
somebody else.
UCLA.
UCLA.
Where USC going?
Big Ten.
Big Ten.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Couple years they'll be in the Big Ten.
Yep.
Oh wow.
That's 2024. I think
something like
that.
Start.
I think the same year as the expanded playoffs.
That's gonna be tough. We need to drop some teams in there.
Probably drop all of them.
Yeah.
Top two teams is always Michigan and Ohio State.
Is Hawaii in there?
No.
What am I
I
talking
don't know where Hawaii is at.
what's
actually,
what's the one team? I'm up here sounding
Notre Dame?
crazy. No, in the Big Ten, they got some nice helmets.
Maryland.
Maryland.
Oh,
we need to drop them.
Yeah, they trash.
They're making us look bad.
They trash. Nah, but I agree. You see all these jokers talking about some. This is why you ain't swag.
Mm-hmm.
They probably like. At the end of the day, if they would have fired him, nobody would be saying anything.
Right.
But because he got promoted and it was just like, oh, you can rebuild. I don't think that you can only get so big with your HBCU unless you get the proper funding.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get the proper help down there, I mean, they're joke about to get all that up there. And at the same time, somebody pointed out this was just like these same people that's saying all of this, whether they're from the HBCU or not, if their employer told them, well, I'm about to give you $5 million.
Yeah.
They leave in a heartbeat.
It was a lot more.
And I'm making 300,000.
Right.
Yeah.
He made a lot. He had a contract at 1.2 at Jackson.
And he donated. He donated
half of it.
Yeah.
And Colorado offered him 29 point something for 5 years.
Yeah,
so,
my man's.
Only thing, so I'm about 90%, 90, 95. Only thing I didn't like is that his whole, and not that I didn't like, but it's just something that, I heard that I kind of agree with, was that like his whole mantra and his whole like message was like, we don't have to go to these bigger schools. We can stay where we at and get to the NFL. We can stay here. And somebody was like, well, you get thrown a bone and you out. So it's like, is that a little contradictory to the message you've been spreading?
Well, he was throwing the bone last year and he stayed.
I mean, somebody said, he kind of left before his contract was out. So that's the only thing is like, finish out your contract. But that man don't owe that school nothing. That man has brought a lot to that school. He got sponsorship, donations, where HBCUs is like screaming for help. Yeah. They're severely under financed and everything. He brought Under Armour, sponsored his school. He did a lot for the school that wasn't there before. So he did his job. And then he said when he came in, he already said if a bigger school came in and offered me this, then I would be a fool not to look at it. So I mean, you can't be mad at the man.
His ultimate goal is the league, anyways. It's not even college football. Yeah, it's to get to the league to coach.
So I mean, I think that overall, all the people that's hating on him, we should all do the better job of supporting. Put your money where your mouth is. Don't sit around and ask Deion to do more than what other people doing. No alumni at a lot of these schools don't even donate back. This man was giving half his salary to ensure that kids got what they needed as far as facilities and stuff like that. So I definitely think that man has done his due diligence and did what he needed to do at the school. He don't owe the school nothing.
Yeah, my man's just hilarious too. Y'all see that interview?
Yes.
My man walked up in there and told him straight up. He said, "Some positions in here, you know, we got it taken care of. Don't worry about it.
I got my quarterback coming.
Yeah, I brought some luggage.
I'm coming.
Brought some luggage with me. He said, some of y'all right now, go ahead, jump in the transfer portal.
Did I see that the quarterback jumping in there?
Yeah, but that was like trash, that was 3 or 4 days ago though.
Oh, but I heard he was trash.
So
he only had like 800 yards passing.
I think he only played in like 5 games though. But it was McCown's son, the journeyman, NFL journeyman.
Now Deion been doing a lot for black people, you know, with his whole charter school and everything.
Yeah,
that he struggled, you know, because of funding and stuff like that. So the man has been doing what he's been doing.
Yeah,
you can't fault that man for that. And trying to better himself and better his career. You know, you can't really fault that man.
Yeah, good luck to Deion. I know I'll be watching.
Oh yeah,
see how you do.
Might get some Colorado gear, man.
Yeah, I ain't going that. Well, you kind of already got some.
Yeah,
you up
yeah. We're not even going to talk about Denver right now. They're terrible.
Who? NBA?
Broncos.
Oh,
we are god awful.
I can't speak too much.
They
Pittsburgh ain't doing nothing.
Somebody said Sierra stop praying for
Russell Wilson. Hey, they could go back to Seattle, bro. Leave Sierra. He could go back.
Oh, snap. That's funny.
Yeah, man.
So we go back to you had made a comment that you took a mental day.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's not often that we hear men open up about taking mental days or anything being of that sort.
Yep.
Something going on with them. And, so I figured today we just do a brother check. You know, we sit down and talk amongst men, brothers, and just chit chat or whatever, So what made you take a mental day, and what does one do as a man? A lot of women do the self-care and they get pampered and they do all, so what was your version of a self-care or mental day?
For me, what led up to it, I felt, especially this season of the year, we're getting into the holiday season, and time changed over, so it gets dark quick. In the state of Ohio, it really doesn't, the sun doesn't shine that much this time of year, so the weather kind of contributes to our psyche a little bit. Then on top of that,
I know.
We have pressures already embedded upon us professionally. Got to be a father, good worker, good provider, than all my other activities I'm involved in. And I think I just needed, for me, a normal week for me, I'm busy all 7 days of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And I had not really taken a day off in such a long time. And I felt myself kind of shutting down a little bit. So I had to use that day to just recalibrate and to recharge and everything. And as for what I did, basically I just sat in the house and did nothing. I watched football. I got something to eat. I got what I wanted to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Next couple of weeks or whatever, I might go out and, get a massage or whatever. Somebody gave me the idea, go get a pedicure and all that. That's not quite my thing, but I don't fault any man that does it.
I do it. You should try.
You should.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah. You ain't never had one?
I never had one, bro.
Oh, yeah. You got to do it one
I just don't. My toes ain't getting painted, bro.
You ain't got
to get them painted.
To get all that extra skin all scrubbed off.
Yes. So I'm looking into stuff like that, and like a couple months ago, I did a like the facial treatment, like the gold mask and all that, and it really felt good, So we're kind of eliminating those stigmas when it comes to masculinity and the stuff that we could do to, take care of ourselves. So, but I'm open to more ideas because, I got to find something.
Hit that pedicure for sure.
Yeah.
And
if you could get a manicure too.
I ain't did that, but I mean,
you
can try that. So your fingers look pretty on the keys when you play.
No, I can't do that. My thing is,
I never had one.
I had a friend years ago do one and my nails were shiny. Like I didn't like it.
You buffed? They got them buffed?
Yeah. Okay. And they used to clear paint and everything, but it still felt.
So they put the clear polish on it.
I'll be honest with you, man.
I didn't like it.
You got to get the buff versus the polish.
I'll be honest with you, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm married, so this is kind of like not for me. But a lot of women, it's kind of a thing for men that take care of themselves, though.
Mm-hmm.
So single men that think it's too masculine. I mean, not enough masculine. Women like that type of stuff.
They do.
Men that take care of themselves. So any man out there that's kind of against it for that very reason, you should think about it.
Yeah,
ask your lady or something like that.
Scratching on your lady's legs and tearing them joints up.
Yeah, no. I got a question for you guys. When you take a day off, being who we are, fathers, workers, entrepreneurs, and stuff like that. Do you ever feel bad for taking a day off?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's like sitting there and just imagining all the things that you can be getting done. Well, you know what? It's 50-50. Okay. I used to always feel bad because it's like things could be getting done. So now I'm 50-50. Sometimes I do, and there's other times it's just like, I need this time to just chill. Like you said, because you feel yourself getting burnt out.
Yeah.
And then, and if you end up getting burnt out and you're not too much, or if you're not very productive, then you're not doing yourself any justice at all. Not yourself, your business, your kids. And sometimes you just need to like decompress and let loose. So you need that time. And you don't always have to go out and do anything.
Yeah.
There's a lot of days I'll be chilling at the crib. I like you said, build up that Netflix list.
Yeah.
And just binge.
I know you gentlemen is a little older than me, so it's like sometimes I look
a little older.
They both y'all about Mark about 10 years older than me.
He was about to say about 40.
No, I just said a little older. I ain't saying you're old. I'm saying older than me.
You
guys a little bit more seasoned than me. What I'm saying. Yeah. So I got a lot more work to do than you guys. Probably. He probably was. At my age was hitting it hard, as far as like work and stuff like that. So for me, sometimes I do kind of be in my own head thinking like, hey man, it's always something that needs done. Mm-hmm. So it's like I do feel bad for taking a complete day to myself, even though I might need it. But sometimes I do get in my own head like, hey, this is lacking. You could have been doing this. You could have been doing that. So I guess maybe where I am this season of my life, sometimes I do feel bad.
Bro, for me, I work in education, so I don't feel bad.
Oh yeah.
Like some days we need a day.
Oh yeah.
Especially dealing with these kids and the barriers they're facing. Mm-hmm. They're bringing so much into the school.
Yeah.
And then, like in my field, we're dealing directly with the families, the parents, the surrogates and all them. And it's so much that we have to endure, or people who represent them, you know. And then
so you know even feel, brother.
Even today, like I'm finding out, unfortunately, with the shooting that happened over the weekend, one of them were one of our students.
Oh wow!
And he's in critical condition, so prayers out for him. Yeah. But that's the stuff that we face on a daily basis, and we're trying to be a light for these kids and redirect them, and everything. Yeah. But that gets so
mentally exhausting,
mentally and emotionally. Yeah. Like some days I just sit in my car when I get home for hours. Like
I can only imagine.
Yeah. So yeah, like many of us, we speak among ourselves like you need to take a day. Yeah. You definitely need a day. Yeah. And I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Do I miss the kids some days? Like, yeah, but then at the same time I enjoy being able to just chill and not have any responsibilities for a day.
Yeah. I definitely hear that. I can only imagine being in your field dealing with, like you said, you get emotionally attached to a lot of these kids, and sometimes it's like, it's almost like you really don't have the power to change their situation, but you just wish. And but I know mentally and emotionally, that's, you get exhausted there more than a lot of times. A lot of people say, man, people that actually work, like more of a laborer, people that use their mind and emotion and stuff like that, you get more exhausted faster. People that's laborers may not understand that, but when you sitting there constantly thinking and doing that type of stuff, that's equally and sometimes more, exhausting than even getting out there and just, working with your hands and stuff. So I can only imagine how much of a
when it comes to especially managing personalities and everything, that's exhausting, man.
Yeah.
And then you still have to manage your own on top of it, and keep your composure and keep your bearings and everything. So it's but the rewards are so much worth it. Like it's so worth it. Like to see them across the stage or in the military, they come back and they all have families and they're taking care of their families. That it makes it worth it.
I would agree with that.
So as a man, as a husband, educator, father, just man, how much do you guys individually keep inside, like keep built up? You guys feel like you guys keep a lot of, like, whether it be disappointment, anger, discouragement, it could be anything. How much do you guys actually keep built up, pent up, and hidden versus letting it out or expressing?
In this season of my life, I've surrounded myself with people I can go to as an outlet. Mm-hmm. And I had to learn the hard way that it's not healthy to keep everything bottled up. And sometimes we have that false sense of security, thinking that, well, I can't get hurt if, nobody knows what's going on. But at the same time, we're kind of hurting ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I think I said it in a previous show, like the best thing that ever happened to me outside of my children was therapy, because I had to get all that stuff out. And then the more you're expressing, like sometimes you come up with your own solution even while vocalizing everything that's going on. But it's good to have that tight circle that you can say, hey, I just need to call and talk to you, and I just want you to listen. Yeah, I don't want advice. I don't need guidance. I don't need prayer and tongues and all that stuff right now. I just need I need a support. I just need an ear right now, and I think that's been healthy for me. But no longer do I hold it in. I cannot afford to hold it in, because then emotional breakdowns happen, and then it spirals into something that it's hard to get out of. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Nicholas,
I'm kind of like similar to Mark, man. I really believe in environment and having the right people around you. So some stuff I hold in, from my wife as a man, but I do believe in environment. I do believe in surrounding yourself with good people that, you could talk to help you elevate, good people that's, going to help you get you to where you're trying to go. So I always like to have an outlet somewhere. Depends on, who that looks like. It just all depends on the season I'm in. But I'm all about environment, all about having people around you that you can talk about what you're going through, have somebody that can help you get through it, and also have people around you that can, help you elevate your life and get you to the next level. So to answer the question, I hold in some stuff from my wife, but I always have good brothers around me, whether it's, guys like you guys, or always, my older brother, or even my dad, I'm always around good brothers that I can talk to about something. Yeah.
Could I add that I know about a month or so we all got together, and we played pool, we spades, and we just kicked it. It was just the guys. Mm-hmm. And in there you had successful businessmen and fathers and community leaders, family oriented people. Like, it was a healthy environment. You didn't have, we weren't in there, shooting the breeze and, all that stuff. Like, it was really a healthy environment, but I felt that we all got strength from being around each other. Yeah. And we were all on one accord. You know what I mean? And it was not a toxic environment, because, some of the fellas that we know from past situations, you get around them and it's like, all right, trouble's around the corner. But sure. I learned a lot just being around. It strengthens us to be around good men. When the men come together, that's something the women have us beat on when it comes to, like, they can get together. Yeah, they do their brunches, the mimosas, and all that stuff. But then
I don't know about all of them.
But then, like,
my wife,
when it comes to us though, like, it's good to have that safe place where we can come together and be like, hey, bro, I'm dealing with this. Yeah. Like, I need to talk about this, and it's not like, oh man, you a little B, or our manhood gets questioned, all that stuff. It's legitimate. Like, all right, we're here to listen and we're here to help you.
Yeah. No, that's true. Not a lot of people actually have that that community. Mm-hmm. Like we talked about it before, having the right community around you. And I feel like, just like women, I feel like, although we look at like different women groups and we're like, they may fight and, they may be catty. But like you said, every time you turn around, there's always a woman's brunch, a woman's event, and, heal thy sister, which is great. Let me put that out there. It's great, but like, I feel like it is so hard to get men together for anything outside of like drinking and smoking. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I feel like it's super hard. Like there's always like an excuse or something better to do. And then granted, we all work, we got jobs and families, but like, where women could probably get together 4 or 5 times a month, like what's a stretch to get men together once a month?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like I don't know what we need to do to make that better. Because I want to say that's like a worldwide issue. Like I haven't been around the world, but I mean, it seems like whenever we end up talking or being around a lot of men, like that seems to be a recurring issue.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, and we might do it and not even know we're doing it, but our guard be up around other men.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then when it comes to especially being vulnerable around another man, and we specialize in measuring contests.
Yeah.
And it's like we don't want to give off any resemblance of.
Hold on. For those of you who don't know what he's referring to, he's talking about a dick measuring contest.
Yeah.
And not literally, but figuratively,
And it's like where we measure our manhood against each other. And, we don't want to come out on the short end of the measuring tape. So, but I'm at the point now, like I'm about to be 40, like Nick has said. Yeah, I'm about to be 40. But I really don't.
I didn't say that. I said
he kind of implied it.
About 10 years old. I say about 10 years old.
Yeah, he implied it, but
I don't know how old I am.
Bro, at this point in my life,
I did.
Yeah, it was your birthday.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, happy belated birthday, bro.
Thank you.
But at this point in my life, I don't have anything to prove to anybody but my kids. Like, if some dude think, they have it better than me, go for it. I got too many goals and I got destiny to worry about.
I feel like you took the words right out of my mouth. I feel like a lot of men in groups, it's like everybody trying to be the alpha. It's like it's not like Mark said, it's not a contest or something like that. But if you get a bunch of men together, half the time, dude don't want to tell the truth because that make me look soft, or I gotta perceive myself as the alpha. So I'm trying to help somebody else. When it's like, if you come into an environment, we can all just say, what, I need help here, or we can all help each other. Like, we don't need that one alpha that's giving direction. Because if everybody's giving direction, we're going nowhere.
Yeah.
And so, but it's like, there's gonna be natural alphas, like men that they just step into that role. We all know that. But I mean, it's okay for us to walk. Me personally, I like to be the low man on a totem pole because it keeps me hungry. I like to be in environments where there's brothers out there doing better than me because I can feed off of that. Like if we talking business, I don't want to be in a group where I'm the best of the worst. I want to be in an environment where it's like I'm around a bunch of hungry lions that's out here trying to get it. And these brothers is pulling me towards it. I don't want to be the best in my circle. If you're the best in your circle, you ain't in a circle, you're in a cage. Yeah. So it's like, I like to be around people where I don't have to compete. Like, I'm in most people know, I'm in a mastermind with a bunch of entrepreneurs where it's like, I walk in there, how much you making? Nothing. Listen, I want to learn from y'all. I ain't here to talk about what I'm doing or not. What can I learn? I'm here to learn. I'm not here. Even in in a mastermind, you still feel that same thing. People trying to compare and stuff like that. But it's a healthy thing for people to acknowledge where it's like, listen, I'm here, you're here. I'm trying to kind of kill that gap, and I'm here to ask you for help to help me get to that place. It ain't always got to be money. Get around a bunch of men that has a great marriage, and then your marriage will get better. Get around if you're a father, get around some good fathers. There's not perfect fathers, but get around people where you can see that the relationship with their kids is good. Then you can learn some stuff. Stop trying to be in groups where you're the alpha or you're the top. Get in some groups where you can really learn from, and then you will see yourself elevating as a man.
Yeah, and Pastor Locke used to always tell us that if you're the smartest and brightest person in your circle, you need to get a new circle.
Period, man.
And another man said that if you always have to be the bigger person, you're just hanging around small people.
Yes.
So
environment is this season of my life, my environment is everything. I'm learning about myself is my input is affecting my output performance of who I am. So who I talk to, who I on a regular basis, what I listen to, what I watch, all of that stuff, I'm really being intentional because all of that stuff affects who I am as a person. An environment is huge. So it's like I want to be around brothers that's better than me so that I can learn from these brothers and, we can all get better. I don't want to be like I said, I don't want to be a big fish in a small pond. Yeah. I always want to be a small fish in a big pond so I can absorb everything that I can get out of that group.
When we're in our circles, and we could just talk about everyday life too, just in life in general, because I feel like if we have certain things in life, it spills over into every other area that we exist in. So I feel like one big thing, and especially when it comes to character, do we have do we as men, and we can speak from just like our perspectives, us three, like do we have somebody in our life, even if it's just one person, where we have that one person that brings correction, that we don't feel offended, we don't get defensive, we don't feel like, as we said, our manhood, being alpha, you want to rise up and be like, it's just one of them things. Just like it keeps you humble, but at the same time, he or she challenges you. We speak man. Do we have a man that brings forth correction in our life to better us, has our best intention at heart? And it could be a group of people or just one, but you don't really find that a lot. So like, do each of us, do we have that one, at least one person that brings correction?
I have a few. One in particular is my pastor, and we're about the same age. And I respect him for the position that he's in. But then I'm able to go to him with anything. And I receive correction because I believe in accountability. And I don't have all the answers, and I'm not always going to get it right.
Yeah.
So I have him, but then I also have older gentlemen that I can go to that are more seasoned, that can give me a whole nother perspective and way of looking at it. But I think accountability is everything, man. Yeah. And we need to be sat down sometimes and like, bro, this ain't it. Like you're heading towards destruction right now. So.
Yeah. No, I'm the same with Mark. I have multiple. I can name down, a lot of people from, even like Dre, my older brother, mentors of mine. I feel like, you can't have my best at heart if you're not going to help me and correct me.
Yep.
And it's not always going to make sense, because if it's going to make sense, then you'll be doing it.
Yeah.
If everything that a mentor told you made sense, then you wouldn't need a mentor. You wouldn't need a big brother. You wouldn't need a father figure. So a lot of the stuff that they're going to tell you is typically not going to make sense. It's not going to be easy. If you really want to get stretched, it's going to hurt. When have you ever felt pleasure? When have you ever, it's like I said, felt pleasure without any sense of, stretching, or how am I trying to put this? When have you ever got to the next level without any sense of pain, any sense of, stretching, all that different stuff? So it's like, for me, I have multiple people that I can call to that I wouldn't say that I'm not going to feel offensive or nothing like that. That's just a natural as a man. But I'm like, Mark, I can take correction. Sometimes not in that moment, but I can go home and think about it and say, you know what, that person is right. And I do need to change in X, Y, and Z areas. And I'm the same way. I'm that person to a lot of people. But being that person, you are going to, scare a lot of people away, because a lot of people can't hear correction. So to me, if you're going to be in my circle, I'm going to have to be able to give you advice and tell you, hey, you're wrong. Because if I love you and I got you around me, I want to see you do better. Yeah. And I wouldn't be seeing you do better if I'm going to sit here and watch you do something that's not growing as a person, and I'm just going to sit back there and not say nothing. Yeah. So I'm that person to a lot of people.
Yeah, man, I cannot stand a yes man.
I can't.
Yeah. I can't do it.
Yeah. Nah, I try to be very intentional on who I surround myself with. I know I have I got a short list. I got probably 3 or 4 people who I know that are going to give me correction, whether I ask for it or not.
Yeah.
Straight up, they'll just be like, yeah, this is what I'm seeing, or this is what I'm not seeing. This is what you said was going to happen, but then this is what's going on. And it makes you feel, it humbles you, and it makes you feel real convicted. It makes me feel convicted. It's just like anything that make me sit back and think like, yeah, I should be a lot further. You know what I mean? So not to like feel guilty about it, but just like, you know, I said I was going to do this. And there's some things just like, yo, I'm just doing life wrong. And I just need the correction.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes when you sit in your own ish, you get comfortable and you get, because it feel good. You know what I mean? And that's no matter if it's good for you or not, because it feels good and because you can get through the day by day with it. Like you'll just sit there in it. So I feel like you need those people to be in your life.
Can I be honest? Can't trust a person that ain't got a person like that in their life, honestly.
That's true.
Yep.
Because if you telling me you ain't got a person that's correcting you, then I don't know. I can't invest in a coach that don't got a coach. I can't listen to a pastor that's not under another pastor.
That's right.
I can't be following a person that won't submit themselves under another leadership, honestly. So it's like, to me, I can't trust another person, or I can't listen to you if you're not. Who are you getting your information from?
Yeah.
So like I said, a coach needs to be under a coach. A pastor should be under a pastor. A husband should have older husbands. That's, fathers should be around seasoned fathers. I mean, I can't. If a person was to tell me, "Nah, I don't need that," then I don't know. I can't really be rocking with whatever you saying, honestly.
Yeah.
There's a question that I asked. I think I asked the whole crew, either individually or as a group before, but I haven't asked you. So I want you to answer this question.
Sure,
Mark. So you're a teacher to your students. Mm-hmm. You're a father to your children. You're a musician to your church.
Yeah.
Who are you for you?
That is something I am gradually finding the answer to.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I'm gradually finding the answer to. And I'm glad for the question. Mm-hmm. Even as I'm talking, I'm trying to think of an answer. But that's something I've really been trying to focus on. Is one of my shortcomings over my development as a man has been identity and lacking it. And I think in recent years, I've just been able to find it. For me, I think who I am to myself depends on what season I'm in. So I think the last couple of years I've been a protector to myself. And some seasons I've had to be a forgiver. I've had to be a nurturer. I've had to be but then the season is coming where I'm going to have to be a warrior for myself. So anything that I have to do for my family or those I love the most, I have to do it for myself too. Yeah. And that goes back to a principle they taught us in therapy when it came to self-compassion. They said if somebody is going through the same thing that you're going through and they came to you with it, what advice would you give them? They said, all right, you need to take that advice for yourself. So I kind of look at it as, if my child was in danger or whatever, I'm doing everything to protect them.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking at myself, and it's kind of like looking at that little boy, like little 6-year-old Mark.
Yeah.
That felt neglected and everything. And I'm really concentrating on him and building him up. And as I'm building him up, I'm getting stronger myself.
Yeah.
So
that's dope. Do we find it real hard to stand on who we are on a daily basis in life? It could be life, love, and business. Is it like a task to just stand on like this is who I am without feeling guilty? Is this an issue that either one of us face?
Sometimes I would say for me, I'm in a season, I said all the time, I love business. Business is the only thing. I don't think it's hard for me because I look at myself as a husband. Excuse me, I gotta go. Yeah, we might edit this part out. I don't want that ring out.
What's the question again, Dre?
Do we find it hard to stand on or really stand up for who we are, right? So stand up for ourselves, but to actually stand on like who we are as a man. You know what I mean? Like whatever whoever we are for us, like, is it hard to stand up for that, whether in life, love, and business? Is it hard to do that on a daily basis?
I think it's only hard to do that if we try to stand up to the image that we want to portray to everybody else. And that's a dichotomy I've been trying to really get a grasp on, was who do I want people to perceive me to be versus who I really am.
Yeah.
And once you really get a realization of who you really are, I don't think it's that hard when you get to a place when you don't care what people think.
Yeah.
You know, I think we kind of run into a wall when we try to, maneuver and manage to the point where we want to control how people perceive us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where we run into so much conflict within. But once we get to that place where I don't give a dang what somebody thinks, I don't think it's that hard.
Yeah.
Actually, I was thinking about it as I was going to take care of that. I think Mark is 100% correct. Once you find out who you are and you walk into that, like accepting it, whether the outside world accepts it or not, I don't think that it's hard. Like as a husband, when I accepted that, I'm not single Nick anymore. I'm a husband that has responsibility, and I don't care how the outside world portrays that. That decision and who I am is not hard. So I do agree with Mark, because I was going to talk about business, but no, I don't represent myself as a businessman. That's not who I am. I'm a father.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a believer. These are the things. That's who I am outside of business, was good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, like, as a husband, no, I don't think that role is hard to do when you accept that role and don't care about what the outside world portrays it. Because it was hard at a point. I'm not going to lie. When I first got married, it was hard to accept that, you're a husband now. So it's like you ain't hanging out with your homies no more. Mm-hmm. You ain't staying out all hours of night. You got to come home because I got responsibility. So at that point, it was hard to accept who I was. But when I accept this decision I made and who I am now it's easier for me to tell people I'm not coming out than it is to tell my wife I want to go somewhere. Because I enjoy being a husband. I enjoy being with my wife. So I will have to agree with Mark wholeheartedly.
And I think that many times, and I think our conversation before we started recording was alluding to how we focus on the things that we don't have instead of really magnifying and getting the best out of the stuff that we do have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's, I'm sorry, I was going to piggyback on what Mark was saying. I know biblically, talking in Genesis, I think that was the issue with Adam and Eve. That was the first thing that they dealt with is, God told them they could have the fruit from every tree in the garden. It's could be hundreds of trees, hundreds of fruits, anything you want. You just can't take from one thing. So that sense of focusing on what I can't have and that lackluster mindset opposed to having an abundance mindset is majority of our downfall. Most people focus on a little bit of money they don't have and not realize that you're living better than 50 to 70% of the whole world. So it's like, and a lot of people have things that's great going on with their life that, you focus on the one or the few things that you don't have, and now you're miserable because you're comparing what you have to the next person. So, I think that if we begin to focus on everything we do have, like Mark was saying, and not the little bit of things that we might be struggling with, life would be so much better.
So what happens when you don't have what you desire, right? You're not where you want to be, where you should be at in life. And I just know talking to, some of the fellas over the course of the last few weeks, and as you stated, the weather ain't helping. They had to do something with this time change this year. Man, I don't know what they did, but I feel like everybody was affected. Yeah, everybody was affected in some shape, form, or fashion with this thing. But talking to a lot of fellas is one of those things where it's like, all right, well, I'm grateful for where I am, but like where I should be at is now affecting me, like where I am. Not that I'm not grateful for it, but like I should be up here, and I can't pinpoint or put a pin on like what it is, like what that block is, what that mental block is, emotional block is, spiritual block is, financial block is. Like I cannot grasp it. I can't grab a bat or a hammer or a sledgehammer and break through whatever that is. Like I can see it, but I can't get there, and it affects me. So like what happens when we have what we have, we appreciate it, but like for whatever reason, it's affecting us in a negative way because we're not where we should be at.
Yeah, and I think one of the key words you used was the word should. And I think one of the things we need to do is change our vocabulary when it comes to our expectations of ourselves. Just like instead of saying should, I could say I'm not where I desire to be, because should has a judgmental condemnation kind of connotation to it. Just like me making a decision when I was 25. Oh man, I shouldn't have done that. But I need to really look at it like, well, I made the best decision that I did based upon what I knew at the time.
Yeah.
Give yourself a little grace, when it came to making those decisions. And I think that, I think we can still be content where we are, but it doesn't mean that we have to be complacent to where we're staying, where we're at. And contentment is it's a great place to be, but along with contentment, there has to be a plan to go higher too.
Yeah. I would say get around them people that's where you desire to be.
Yeah.
Get around people that can help you close that gap faster, easier, more efficient. If it's a money thing, then try to do your best to surround people that can help you fix whatever issue you're dealing with. If it's a, man or, whatever situation it is, I'm sure there's people out in the world that can help you close that gap. Even if you got to invest in it, if it's therapy or if it's a life coach or if it's a business coach or if it's whatever that looks like, get around them people that can help you get from A to B. Because sometimes we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times it's like, if I don't know how to be a better husband because my father wasn't there, I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what I'm lacking. So you need to get around another husband. I don't know how to be a good dad because my father wasn't there and I, felt abandoned. So get around another, you have to get in them environments. And like I said, I can, harp on this till I'm blue in the face. Environment is crucial in the day and age we live in. So it's like wherever you're struggling at, I would say to those men, get around men that can help you close that gap as soon as you can. And if you can't find it, invest in it.
Yeah.
If you can't invest in it, then right now you got to go on YouTube University or do whatever you can to get that information until you can get to where you need to get. But I would, if I was that person talking, I would get around a better environment as soon as I can.
Yeah. So, you spoke on identity a little while ago, and I think it's something that we all pretty much know. In your identity, you can find your purpose, you can find your calling, you find fulfillment. And I know there's a lot of times where we find ourselves kind of like lost in the wilderness throughout our day-to-day life, and kind of like not either caught in a rat race or stuck in a rut, stuck in complacency, stuck in issues that deal a lot with our love lives. I mean, I know guys who are good financially, they're good career wise, they're good spiritually, but they love life is cheeks.
Yeah,
like they don't know how to navigate certain things. And granted, it could be based on what they seen growing up or how they handle things, or they just may be stuck in a situation that, for whatever reason, they cannot navigate out of. So, what is the importance of finding your identity and who you are, knowing your identity? And then I know at some point in time we've all, maybe our journeys may not be as long as others, but like we've had some issue with identity crisis. Yeah. What is the importance of finding our identity? And then what are some steps that we could take to identify who we are?
I think the importance of finding identity is, it basically comes down to not wasting time. And I know for me, when I didn't really have a full grasp of who I really am, and for me, I'll just be a little transparent. I was always, since I was 4, I've been in the spotlight. I was a musician at the church. I was always the youngest, this person or that person, and I thought I had to live up to a perfect standard. You know what I mean? And then I was kind of sheltered a little bit too. So, when I became an adult, it was like, okay, well, I missed out on all this stuff. Let me see what everybody was talking about in the locker room, and all that stuff. And what that did, it just started a cycle of stuff that kept on going on. Unhealthy relationships, and then terrible decisions, and then not really surrounding myself around the people that could point me to the next level. You know what I mean? And then there was some seasons where it was like, nobody could tell me anything. But the purpose of finding yourself is so you no longer waste time.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key right there is time waits on nobody. Time is our most valuable commodity. And we cannot afford to waste it. And we cannot afford to repeat certain unhealthy cycles. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that finding who you are is critical in the season and day and age we live in now. I think finding yourself, like Mark said, stop wasting time, doing things that you ain't really should be doing, trying to be something that, is not you. I think the sooner that you can find yourself, and not only find yourself, but accept yourself, because there's a lot of people that run from who they're meant to be, I think that you'll be a more happy person. If that makes sense. You guys always clearing up my vocabulary. It's like, no, I think you'll be happier. I think that you have a life that's more meaningful. There's people that die every day that don't, never knew who they were, never lived up to the purpose that God had for them. So I think that identifying that as fast as you can, can save you a lot of, like, I have to agree with Mark, save you a lot of time.
Yeah, and I think one way to get there is to not let people define us. That's one thing. Yeah. For instance, how people define us as black men. Yeah. I don't like hot sauce. So people would be quick to say, oh, no, you ain't black. You don't like hot sauce. But I went out and I experienced different things, and I'm learning to try different things, try some new stuff. Yeah. Because the world is too big. The world is bigger than northeastern Ohio, or the world is bigger than the United States, bigger than North America. Like, there's so much out here that we have yet to experience. So who are we to say what we truly, do we know everything that we do like? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
And I think especially growing up in the church, for me, and I don't want to go back to the why young people don't go to church episode, which was interesting. But growing up in the church, like people are very quick to place you in a box as to you're only allowed to enjoy these things. Yeah. You're only allowed to admire these things. There's certain secular artists out there. I think they're genius. I think they're genius. Now, do I want them dating my daughter? No. No, but
why not, Doc?
No, that's an off-air conversation. Yeah. But at the same time, I can appreciate somebody's genius and still not appreciate them as a person. Right. But coming back to us, though, I think we need to really open our minds a little bit more and avail ourselves to experiencing some more things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How important is vulnerability with men?
It's vital. It's vital. But at the same time, what's more important is having a healthy space to be vulnerable in. Because I think I don't want to say we've all, but many of us have experienced being vulnerable to the wrong person. Yeah. Whether it was a woman that was not equipped to really manage that. Mm-hmm. Some of us have been vulnerable with leadership, pastors or whatever, community organizers or whatever, and they weren't equipped to really help us navigate and to disseminate everything that we're going through. But when we're in a healthy place, we're around like-minded people, and like Nick's been saying, like you've been saying, like people that we're striving to get to their level and everything. Yeah, I think it's very vital to be vulnerable because we don't have all the answers. Yeah, we don't know everything. And now I don't know if I'm to the point where I could say, like, hey, Nick, man, just want to tell you, like, man, I was with Keisha yesterday and she made me cry and all that. Like, I ain't about to do all that. But I know what Nick gonna say.
Hey, listen, I'm in a different season now. You might not know.
No, but I think there's levels to vulnerability, and I think there's some things that we probably shouldn't share with each other too. Yeah. But that's a whole nother issue. But vulnerability is something we need to learn as men, and we need to teach our sons, our nephews, and all our younger men coming up.
Yeah.
Because I see it every day where these kids they have all this appearance of bravado.
Yeah.
And, they're pointing guns at each other, but then their hands are shaking the whole time, and they don't know where they're shooting at. And they just thinking this is the identity or this the definition of manhood. When in fact, all you had to do was say, like, bro, my bad for bumping into you. Yeah. And there's so much we could avoid if we have those healthy spaces.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Once again, I'm going to have to go first. Once again, I have to agree with him wholeheartedly. I think it's more important, I think a better question, not just about vulnerability, but who you're being vulnerable with.
Yeah.
I see my most growth, the more vulnerable I am.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah. If you can man up, have a conversation with a person and say, listen, man, I'm not happy in my marriage.
Yeah.
Not saying me, I'm just talking in general. Yeah. Then you can get an honest and transparent answer that can help you. But if you're always beating around the bush because you're scared to really open them, nah, we just dealing with this. We just dealing. A person can't help you with a guard up. But if you go to a person and say, you know what, I'm going to be honest with you, I am 3 months behind on my bills. Not only can we help you with the initial issue, there's always an issue behind the issue. Yeah. It's never really the issue. If a person come and tell you one thing, it's never really that issue. That's a symptom to the real issue. Yeah. But I can't get to the real issue if you have a wall up and you're only giving me part of it. Yeah. You can't go to the doctors and tell them, I got a headache. Okay. And? Doc, I just got a headache. Okay, that could mean one of 10 things. But if you go to that doctor and say, Doc, I got a headache. It's been going on for this many nights. My head is throbbing at this time and this and that. Then the doctor can really see what's going on. But the less vulnerable that you are, then a person can't really help you. But like Mark said, it's more important to figure out who to be vulnerable with, opposed to just don't be going out there telling cats that can't handle it, your marriage is going trash. You gonna tell somebody else, now somebody gonna slip in with your wife. Yeah. Or telling the cat you got the Italian disease funzalo, and they gonna laugh at you. But no, it's like Mark said, it's better to. I think you just need to know who to be vulnerable with, who can really help you. There's no sense in being vulnerable with a person that can't. Why would I tell a broke dude I'm broke? For we both gonna be broke. We sitting here talking about how we both. You just gonna become more broke. Yeah. Find a person that you can be vulnerable that can not only handle it, but that can really help you.
Come up with a plan.
Come up with a plan and find out that real situation.
And one of the most heartbreaking sights is seeing people on social media fall apart.
Oh my God.
And it's like we're in no position to help you, but while they're being vulnerable and everything, but a lot of people are probably eating a bag of popcorn and enjoying the show because people kind of feed off of somebody else's, downfall and
material to talk about.
Yeah,
I don't know why people do that. I think that's the And I'm probably gonna say something that's gonna get me ate up again. But I think half the time when people do that is for attention. The other half you might not know where to go to.
Yeah.
But social media is not a place for you to get help. It's not. You need to have them people that you can talk to in a controlled setting.
Well, I'm gonna say sometimes. Because sometimes you can put stuff on social media and when you filter through the garbage, there may be one or two people who genuinely see what you put on there and they genuinely reach out and help you. Yeah. So I do believe it's been inundated with a bunch of filth now, but like what it was meant for and created for, what it used to be, there is still some use of that out there. You just gotta, again, sometimes you just gotta filter through the garbage. And a lot of times when people put up posts and they put stuff out there, we only see what we see. So we don't see what we don't, meaning we see the trash responses that people put up there. We don't see the genuine people or people reaching out through DM or through text messages. Instead of responding on there, I'm going to just go straight to the source. I'm about to call you now.
I just always felt that, man, most people don't care about my problems. Not in the sense of being ignorant, in the sense of y'all got your own stuff to deal with on social media. I know I got my group of people that I'm blessed that I could just make a phone call to and say, listen, brother, I'm hurting. But I just always felt like, man, I don't know how many friends I got, more friends than I even know. I can get to majority of people don't care, not in a negative sense, but they just got their own lives situations to deal with. And most social media is just scrolling. Most people, they just scroll past, don't even know what they're scrolling past.
Yeah.
So it's like, even when you talk marketing, like, you know, the attention span of the average scroller is seconds.
Yeah.
And most people might see you post something and really don't even read it to a point. It's just, oh, here they go again. Let me just keep going. But I think that, once again, if we have to keep saying it, get you a support system that you can call to, that you can get immediate help, opposed to having to go on social media and find that person, man. Get that person immediately. If you can't walk away with nothing of this episode, the second you get done with this, you know, actually turn it off, push pause right now, and go find you a support system. Yeah. If it's just one person that you can go and talk to. And another thing that people need to hear too, stop getting around support systems that can't help you with nothing. How many circles of people around that can't help them with nothing? Yep. Telling people problems that got problems. Yeah. I told my wife the other day, who was she? She was talking to somebody. I said, why you talk to them? They can't help you. Like, even if they wanted to, they can't help you. Mm-hmm. You need to talk to people. The problem is that that's the most uncomfortable conversation, because the real gonna come out. Mm-hmm. You go talk to somebody that you need to borrow money to, and they say, listen, let me help you. Now we got to identify the real issues that's going on. Yeah. And a lot of times it's hard to identify what's really going on and hear that. But like I said, the more vulnerable you are, that's the only way that you're going to come up. So get a support system, but get people around you that can actually help you.
Yeah. So I got two more things, and then we go get up out of here.
Let's keep going.
Two things. So misplacement. You know, a lot of times, and I know for like the women that are listening to this, we know y'all deal with stuff too. But I think we just kind of like directing at men now. And I can speak to seeing, you know, to having sons now, once being a boy, young man, now as a grown man, and just kind of like seeing those around me. A lot of times men we got an issue with misplacement. That's misplaced anger. Sexual misplacement. We misplace a lot of our instead of going to a source, we always put it somewhere else, so that A, we don't have to deal with it, or B, we delay the inevitable, or we just go about it ignorantly, and it's just like, I'm just doing it however I can, either because I haven't been taught a certain kind of way, or I just don't agree with that and I don't feel like doing it. I'm gonna do it this way. You know, just being hard-headed, you know what I mean, out of ignorance. So, like, how can we get better with our misplacement issue, and so that it does not affect us in the long haul, our big picture, so that our big picture is not affected that much by misplacement? What are some things that we can do to get ahead of that? And then as we teach our young kids and our friends that are our age, and heck, even some men that are older than us who still have an issue with misplacement, what are some things that we can teach them, some things that we've either overcome, some things that we've seen other people overcome? What can we teach or advise men and boys to deal with misplacement?
Yeah, I'll let Nick go first, since he said he's taking my answers.
Well, first and foremost, I didn't take your answers. I agreed with your answers.
I'm playing, man.
And the second thing is, I don't know. I will have to listen to you more seasoned brothers. I don't know the answer. I'm not going to make up some BS.
Yeah, I think the main thing to do to avoid misplacement is to be real with ourselves.
Yeah.
And
I was going to actually say that, but I didn't think that was good.
It's tag team. It's like, no, I'm kidding. But we have to be real with ourselves. And Nick, I love an example you gave about going to the doctor.
Yeah.
And God rest his soul, my grandfather was notorious for, whenever he went to the doctor, he always say, "Oh, doc, everything going good," you know. So one of us would have to say, "Hey, doc, or here's what's really happening," you know, this, that, and the other. Some of us, we have a false impression of what our past really is. And I think in order to avoid misplacement, we have to really do an autopsy on some of our greatest mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, like, we really have to break down and like get down to the DNA structure of what is it that's in me that caused me to make this choice? If I was in a relationship that didn't work, okay, now that I've done all this work blaming the other individual, okay, what did I contribute to this so that I don't carry on these same traits to the next person?
Yeah.
And that takes us being real with ourselves. And yes, we can have our circle and everything, but then it does no good if we're not real with ourselves first.
Yep.
Because we could I put on a good act before.
Yeah.
And sometimes my friend to the left here, Dre, has called me out like, bro, what's really going on? Like, I know you, what's really going on? And one thing is basically being authentic, being real, and being able to be corrected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we have to be able to be corrected. But to avoid misplacement, we definitely have to be real. And then we have to also learn from our previous mistakes too.
I also think getting out of our own way helps with misplacement as well. As you said, identifying our triggers, identifying past wrongs and hurts, because sometimes we take our anger out on the wrong people. And this doesn't even have to even go to like our past. It could be something that that happened during the day.
Yeah.
And you end up taking it out on your kids or your wife if you're in a relationship,
Multiple times I've done that.
So, but you gotta just as quick as you do the whole misplacement joint, you gotta come back with an apology.
Yep.
Be like, my bad, and then you have to come with an explanation as well, explaining why. But same thing with when we talked about misplacement sexually. But it was what I meant by that was a lot of times instead of dealing with some things, a lot of people actually like, if I'm hurting them this, I just need to go have sex and I'm good.
Yeah.
If I'm dealing with X, Y, and Z, I go and let me just go get this nut off real quick.
Did it ever make
But
the
then you feel
situation worse?
It makes it worse because sometimes, because what are you doing? Like if you're single and you grab, like, what are you saying to get the buns? How are you? Is this somebody who's on the same page as you, or is this someone who you are just using and manipulating to get the buns?
Yeah.
And them quick buns sometimes can be the wrong ones.
They could be the wrong ones.
They usually are.
Yeah.
We just talked about a brother, a one night stand. Now he stuck with her for life.
For life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
quick buns ain't always good.
Yeah. Yeah. So learning, I think
quick.
if we
it's like nah.
if we learn how to deal with a lot of the issues that we face on a day-to-day, from day to day, then I think that if we learn how to deal with them properly, and if we don't know how to deal with them properly, then we need to just seek out information. As Nick said, we're in the information age. You got YouTube University. There's one of those ways you can use social media. You don't always have to put a post up.
Yeah.
You can create a private group.
Yeah.
You can create a chat with guys that you trust and put it out there to these guys and see which one will actually, respond back to help you. If you are terrible at making decisions in your life, get a group of people, a group of men. And this is for men. If you get a group of men that you trust, and they don't even got to know that you trust them, just start messaging them. If you got their numbers, hit them up with a text and just let them know, like, I'm terrible at decision making. My decision making is terrible. It's misplaced. All right. And my life reflects that. Then get around people who you trust. Get around, like Nick said, search out the people who are already, who have maybe been there and overcome it, or they're already where you desire to be at. Not that you're trying to mimic who they are, because you don't want to take over their identity, but search out those people in order to get help.
Yeah, and I like one of the terms you used was triggers. Mm-hmm. And I think misplacement has to be substituted with replacement.
Yeah. And
I think that for me, there was a season where I had to take a break from dating because things would go good and then, something would take place and it would take me back to another failed relationship. Mm-hmm. And I had to really be real with myself and say, you know what, I am not in a position to date right now. Yeah. I need to take a break and everything.
That's good, actually. Most people don't do that.
Yeah.
Most people sit around and jump from bad relationship to bad relationship without dealing with the actual issue.
Yeah. Yeah. And I saw myself like with whoever I was with at the time, I was taking stuff out on them, and they did nothing to me. You know what I mean? So, but instead of being with a woman or whatever, I replaced that with, you know what? I'm going to go to the church and practice.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to go write, or I'm going to go, I'm going to just randomly drive to Cleveland, treat myself to a nice dinner, you know? Yeah. And I think that turns full circle back to something we said earlier when it came to like really loving yourself and identifying who you really are.
Yeah.
And I think so many of us, we jump into relationships, whether it's friendships, with a girl, a babe, or, you know, whatever. And we never really got the time to find out who we are.
Yeah.
What we like.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, shoot, I enjoyed being single. Like, one of the worst things, but one of the worst things is being, in a relationship or whatever, and you feel like you're trapped. Yeah. You still feel like you're by yourself.
Yep.
You know, so, this is the season now, especially for me, to really come to a place where I get to have a full picture of who I am, so that I can present that to the woman versus who I could potentially be.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that was the mistake I made in the past was I showed them all my potential. I didn't show them all my present.
Yeah, who you were. Yeah, you didn't show them. I think that's extremely important. Finding out who you are. Listen, you got to enjoy your own company. You have to learn to laugh with yourself, be happy with yourself, treat yourself, because if you don't do this stuff while you're alone and by yourself, there's no way that you can expect to have somebody else come into your life and do all these things for you. You're going into the joint failing right off rip. But if you actually enjoy your own company, somebody else is going to enjoy it. Like, how do you go expect somebody else to come in and make you happy, which they shouldn't,
right?
Make you happy if you don't even know what happiness is for you.
Yeah.
You know, you've never, like you said, you've never went out and pampered yourself. You ain't never went out to eat by yourself. You ain't never went to the movie. I know some people have complexes with that, but that is one of the most freeing and enjoying things that you can ever do.
I've never done that before.
You should
Not
do
that
it.
I don't want to do it.
Even in the marriage, listen.
I like going to get food and just bring it back to the crib.
Man, go out and just eat. Like, seriously, like, no, listen.
I don't like eating by myself.
Like, let's just say y'all get in an argument.
I like to eat a
and
lot.
You just
and
need
people
to
judge who I am based on my plate.
Well, you go out and eat a lot there.
No,
go somewhere and just, and it don't even have to be food. You can go to like Mocha House and get a cheesecake or a cookie or
even worse,
coffee. Go get some coffee.
Yeah.
Go get some coffee, but go sit somewhere just like where there's a TV or paper or something. You can talk to the barmaid, but just chill, just hour or two. And you don't even have to necessarily be like in an argument, but just saying like that's one thing my uncle had told me once when I got married was, you know, you get into it. Make sure you go out and you know, go watch a movie, and then go back home and talk it out. You know, now you done calm down, everything is cool. You know, and the emotions are now low, so you ain't about to say or do nothing stupid.
Yeah. You know what? I created that tradition for myself. So every Monday, I'm actually going when we leave here. I go to this local establishment that our friend owns, and I go there for about an hour or two. Sometimes football might be on or whatever, but it's just me. I might take my laptop, you know, get some work done, but most of the time I just sit there and I just want to get in a place where I give myself time to myself. Yeah. You know what I mean? And,
you have to. Yeah. It's very critical in a relationship more because.
Oh, by far.
Yeah, you mess around, lose yourself, and all you do is what the other person do, man or female, and you will find yourself unhappy very quickly.
And then that's where the misplacement comes in.
Yeah.
And, you know, like old girl, she could just, she put the toilet paper on upside down or whatever.
It annoys you.
Yeah, and it's like, man, this chick, man, I don't even know why I'm here. And it's just toilet paper.
Yeah.
Bro, that's the funniest thing, man. Most people, they really think you get in a big arguments. Being married, I get in the smallest, dumbest arguments. Yeah. We don't talk about who cheat on each other. Why didn't you tell me the toothpaste was out? Why didn't you tell me this? This is the argument.
Turns into a big, huge argument.
Yeah, but most people come in my mind like, y'all argue about that? Yeah, man, it's stupid.
But it's good too, though.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd rather argue about that than coming home and seeing. I heard some stories. But you know what we should do, man? I think that we came up with a lot of good things that brothers need to do. We need to put this stuff in order for the brothers. So I think that I will have to agree with each other that the first thing that, you know, to get to the next level, brothers need to identify themselves.
Yep.
So I think the first thing into this self-help, we're going to call it our self-help system, blended view self-help system. I think the first thing you have to do is identity.
Yeah.
Identify. Now, I don't want nobody out there stealing our stuff. So we about to come up, we're going to coin this. This is the blended view self-help system. So I will say step one, and we can all agree, step one is to find your identity and figure out who you are for you. Like Dre said, a lot of people, you're this to this people. You're, a worker to your boss, a father to your daughter. Figure out who is you to you. I will say the first steps in that.
Who are you for you?
Yeah, what's our second step? Let's come together.
Go ahead, Nick. You on fire, bro.
Yeah, go. Keep it rolling.
I will say the second step that we all talked about is identify where you want to go.
Come up with a plan.
Come up with a plan. Like you said, most brothers, they feel like they're stuck here and, I'm having an issue identifying where I wanted to go. I think that most brothers need to identify that gap.
Yeah.
Figure out what does it look like? What does, you're A, what does it look like to get to B?
How do you go from idea to execution?
And what a lot of people, I think their problem is, because I dealt with this. We don't need to go from A to Z off the gate.
No.
Right.
A lot of people, and I dealt with this in myself, you look at other people's Z and you think that, okay, how can I get from A to Z? And you begin to create depression and situations in your life by thinking that you need to go from A to Z because you see somebody else that's at Z. If you focus and put a lot of energy to how do I get from A to B or A to C as best that I can, then from C to D, D to E. Yep. And if you work that process out as best as you can, you will see progression in your life.
That means you're not skipping steps either. And what you were supposed to encounter along the way, you will actually encounter instead of you trying to go around it. Because you have to go through some things in order to become a certain kind of person. Like, like toughness, perseverance, like all of these things is going to do nothing but build your character. Yeah. So don't, like, if you think that you're just going to go from A to Z and all of a sudden you're just this nice, good, powerful, like, nah, big dog. Like you going to have to go through some stuff in order to become who you want to be. Yeah. Like that, it ain't going to happen overnight either. Yeah. It's a process.
And Nick, you just helped me out with that. Cause, for, one of like a business idea I've been focusing on Z. Yeah. And there's 24 other steps along the way. So that just helped me out.
Bro, I struggled with that for years. And a quick story, I think I might have told this on another episode. So, everybody know we do landscaping and I'm doing leaves right now. And it's natural for men to see other people, what they got going on and kind of compare yourself. So yeah, being out there in the field, I always see other landscaping crews driving like, dang, they got this machine. Dang, they got that. And I pulled up to the dump one day and everybody come dump their stuff. I was pulling up about to dump my leaves. There's another, crew, had an old, I'm not going to call it raggedy, but like, looked like they was just new. And they looked over at what we had and said, I'll trade you setups. And I stopped. And, I kind of laughed it off, but it really stuck in my mind. I get back in the truck and I'm like, because I feel like, God throws stuff at us and it's a teachable moment. I'm sitting there, I'm like, dang, I've been complaining about my setup for a minute now. And a person looked at my setup and they like, well, I want what you got. So that really took me back and humbled myself to, next stop looking at other people's Z. Because right now I'm probably not at B, I'm probably at C, and I should be grateful for being at C.
Absolutely.
So I need to stop focusing on how to get from Z, because that's going to drive you insane. Figure out how to get to the next step and figure out how to do that the best way you can.
And I think I got steps 3 and 4. Step 3, we need to create the right team around us.
Yes.
Number 4, be open to accountability.
Yes. Yeah. So first and foremost, identify yourself. Second, figure out what the gap looks like. Figure out what that process looks like.
Our destination.
Put together a group of people that will keep you accountable, will not be yes man, and that they are at those steps. Don't put together, if you at B, don't put together a group of A's. A group of A's ain't gonna do nothing but you on your ass. To be honest with you. But put together a group of people that's at B, C, D, E, F that can help you, pull you. You don't want to be in a group where you're always doing the pulling. You want to, and then like Mark said, get accountability group. And I got another one. After you do all of that, help the next person out.
That's it.
Being a teacher can help you learn more than trying to teach.
Mm-hmm.
And most people don't understand. Once you help people out, it'll help you as a man helping the next person.
Yep.
And that creates legacy right there.
Yeah.
Yes.
What we all want.
Yep.
So that's the blended views self-help system.
Yeah.
Identify where you at. Identify the gap. Put together a team. Accountability. 5, help the next person.
Yeah.
We're going to coin it. I don't want nobody stealing our stuff.
Yeah. Always be in a position of learning too.
Yeah.
Always be open. Be in a position of learning. I feel like the more that you learn, the more valuable you are as a person in general. You'll always be in a position, you'll always be in a better position to better yourself.
Yes.
Basically meaning the more that you know, the more people will seek you out. And this is in your career, business, life, like they'll seek you out. And you can attach a dollar sign to that.
Yeah. I heard the person say, I've been listening to Myron Golden lately. I've been listening to him a lot. He said, you should do 80%. Actually, he might not have said this exactly, but he said you should be 80% learning, 20% teaching at all times of your life.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that.
And keeping that axe sharp. You know, when you want to cut down that tree, spend more time sharpening that axe than swinging it.
Yeah.
And the results would be astronomical.
Yeah. I use some. I was listening to Coach K. He was giving the W's. And he says you got to identify where you want to be or where you want to go. Then you need to figure out what you need to do to get there. And more importantly, the most important thing is who do you need to be to get there?
Wow.
Yeah.
Because if you're not that person, then you'll never get what you think you should be getting, and you'll never go where you think you're supposed to be going. So ultimately, everything always reverts back to self.
Yeah.
Everything reverts back to self.
No, you just made me think about Kobe and his training regimen.
Mm-hmm.
Like people only saw the 82 games and the playoffs and all the success.
Yep.
But
I've been really
this
studying
dude
Kobe lately. Honestly.
literally getting up at like 2 and 3 in the morning, working out, take a nap, go to practice, take care of his kids, playing a game. You know, like that preparation, like what nobody else sees.
Yeah.
That dude sharpen that axe, man.
That's what him and Jordan, he said he took the same mindset as Jordan. He said it was nothing to get up and do all of that. He said practices were always way harder than games.
Absolutely.
Because by the time you got to the game, that was the easy part.
And you know, they also taught us to keep on take so many measurements, but only cut once.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to take so many measurements, but you only get one chance to cut.
Yeah.
Or else you got to replace everything and start over.
Yeah.
That's why I say keep that. The sharper that you can keep that axe. And when I say keeping that axe sharp, keeping your brain sharp, keeping your. This might be contradictive coming out of my mouth, but keep your body sharp. Keep everything sharp so when it's time to swing that axe to cut that thing down, it ain't going to be hard.
Yeah.
Same thing like Kobe said, man. People see the 82 games. But people miss the thousands of hours that man dedicated to his game.
Yep.
And that's why it looked easy when he did it, man. It looks easier to the person that's prepared than the unprepared.
Yeah.
So, brothers, man, we done gave y'all a lot of game, man. We're not perfect brothers out here. We still striving
from it.
We still striving to be better than where we are. But get you a community, man. This is two brothers here that I personally talk to more than I need. I need to talk to y'all more. But these is brothers that I know that I can call and that can give me good advice on whatever I'm going through. Get you guys somebody like that in your life. Get somebody that's gonna tell you the truth and not yes man. Like Mark said, I hate yes men. And life will be better. I mean, it's never gonna be perfect. It's never gonna be easy, but it's definitely worth it. This life is beautiful. Yeah. That's all I got today.
Well, Nick, I'm proud of you. There's no death threats coming your way.
Oh, no. That's another conversation, man. That's another conversation.
We'll wait till next week.
Next week.
No, fellas, I appreciate y'all. For all the fellas out there, women too. Women who, I love saying women who have men in their lives that you love, appreciate, and care about.
Yeah.
Like, share this episode with them. And aside from sharing this episode, like, have a conversation with them.
Absolutely.
About them. Like, check on them. Like, legit check on them.
Make sure the conversation is open-minded.
Yes. And don't take anything personal. Like, when you sit down and you talk to the brother, to your son, to your brother, to your husband, to your boyfriend, your dad, like, like you said, be open minded, but also go in there ready to actually, if you ask for transparency, create that safe space so that they can actually be transparent and just sit back and listen until your feedback is needed, if it's actually needed, because you never know what a man is going through. Men, stop suffering in silence. Again, I know like it's coming up more and more. I know probably 2 people in the last month alone that men that have committed suicide. I know people that are connected to me who have suffered losses. A lot of men going through depression, just like women as well. But men, men are committing suicide at a higher rate than women. So our community, men, we need to come together a whole lot more. We need to band together. We need to stick together. We need to open up more to those we trust again. And we just have to be more, we have to be mature. We have to be mature. We have to be loving. And we just got to open up a side of us that has never been open for a lot of us, and just trust the process in the midst of it, and seek real help. Therapy,
absolutely,
counseling, whatever you want to call it. It's not going to make you crazy.
No.
And find the right therapist, find the right counselor.
That part, yeah.
And if your counseling is at the barbershop, hooping, on the sticks, chilling with your bros, go ahead and use that time to vent. Use that time to open up, to talk, even if it's just a little bit. You never know who's going through the same thing, similar thing, who have been through it. You never know who you're going to help out. And for those of you who are quiet about your story, open up. Because I guarantee you it's going to be somebody that you can help out with your story and what you've overcome and how far you've came, which probably more than likely would have killed somebody else. But you made it, so your story can definitely help somebody else. So don't suffer in silence. Fellas, appreciate y'all again. Till next time, play the moments, pause the memories, stop the pain, keep the happiness on repeat. Peace.
What's up?
BVU fam, we just wanted to take the time to thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of Blended Views Unfiltered.
Because we love y'all.
And we miss y'all too.
Thank you for your support.
And we want you to take time out of your busy day and go check out our TikTok, our Instagram, and our Facebook. And for those of you who are not listening or watching on YouTube, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe.
And we also got, listener letters. So if you guys ever have a question that you want us to address, if you ever just want to write in and say, you know what, Nick, your hair is always on point, or Big Mama is so funny, or Special K is so crazy, or that Dre always getting at the women.
Who's Special K?
Special K is crazy. But you can write us at info@blendedviewsunfiltered.com. That is info@blendedviewsunfiltered.com.
And always remember,
Play the moments.
Pause the memories.
Stop the pain.
and keep the happiness on repeat. Peace.
Peace out.
Peace.